What's up guys, it's Mario, back with another video, and today this video is about how to lay vinyl floor planks, and lots of tips and things that you need to get started. So as you can see right here, I got some vinyl plank flooring I'm going to install in this basement. This floor I purchased it at Home Depot, and just some basic flooring, and it comes with the underlayment. As you can see on the box, it's like a brownish gray or whatever. So here, as you can see, we back in that basement that I had painted, that I showed you in the previous video. I painted it with that airless air sprayer. So here's that room. I got the floor all sweep. So when you first start, you want to make sure you sweep up everything, get all the debris, make sure it's level. It's nice and level before you get started. In this room, it had some around the edges. I guess it had carpet at one point, and so there was little nails from the tack strips when they laid the carpet. That was down. I had to break those out, make sure I got that off from along those edges. As you can see, I laid out a bunch of different floors already. So what they say that you should do is lay them out and see the same patterns and separate them. But since this floor is so big, I'm not going to be doing that. But I do want to start off with some of the things that you do need, and some of the things that I'm going to recommend. So some tips or whatever. Alright, first and foremost, for when you first start, I'm going to tell you some tips that I'm going to say, the things that I say that you should definitely have and you're going to need for when you get started. So for starters, before you start doing anything, go get you some knee pads. You definitely going to need some knee pads, because you being down on your hands and knees for hours, especially even for an hour or 30 minutes, you know what I'm saying? I don't care how young you is, eventually it's gonna take a toll on them knees. It's gonna hurt. So go get you some knee pads. All right, now for this job, you're gonna need a rubber mallet. Don't necessarily have to be this big. You'll need this so you can tap down on that plank and flooring to make sure it snaps down correctly. You wanna go get this tapping block that you need. It's universal. You got two different sides to it, but this tapping block, you put this on the side of the plank and floor, and you tap that to lock it in place. You're gonna want that. You're gonna want this pull bar. You also use this when you like at the end of your row or whatever. You put it at the very top, and you take this and you tap this to pull it back, to lock it in place. You're gonna want a tape measure, so when you have to make the cuts, because every plank isn't going to be a full plank. You're gonna cut some in half. You're gonna cut some, and you're gonna need to cut some in half, and you're gonna need to cut some period. You want you a marker so that you can mark. For me, you can use a box cutter. But for me, I think it's very much easier if you go get you some type of flooring cutting tool. I got this from Amazon. It's called Manistol. I can't remember how much I paid for this, but I will look for it, and I'll put it down in the link down in the description. But I always use it for my any type of flooring that I do, and it's definitely helpful because this, not only can I cut it long ways, I can turn the board sideways and make those long skinny cuts and make them nice and pretty. So I definitely recommend getting one of these. You can cut this with a saw, with a jig saw. You can cut it with a circular saw. You can cut it with a box cutter. You can cut it with any of that. But I just personally like to use this. It's got a nice blade, gives you a nice clean cut. So this is what I like to use. So with that, you would like to have a floor, a leveler, so that way you can make sure your floor is level, and that way you can fill in any spots, stuff like that. A lot of people, they like to get lay chalk lines so they can make sure that first line is straight up against that wall, because every wall more than likely is not going to be straight. So I would also recommend you get you some spacers. That way with the spacers, you can because you want to come off against the wall, you want to leave you a little space from against the wall. That way you allow the floor to expand and contract, during those summer months when depends on where you live, when the floor expands, you want to allow it to have somewhere to go to, because if not, it's just going to bow up against that wall when it does expand. So you want to leave you a nice little space. So I would come off the wall about a half an inch, I would say. I'll come off the wall. Let's see, what else do I have here? Oh, also, I'd say if your box has some instructions like mine does inside, I'd say read over these. That way you can get a clear understanding of what's going on and how things need to be. So, with that being said, I want to show you guys something that I think is very important that I don't think a lot of people show you, and that's this. Okay, when you look at this board, as you can see, there's a little lip right here and a lip along this side. And this side doesn't have one. It has like a groove, if you see. It has the groove on the back. And so what you do, when you first start, you want to have this lip right here facing out, and you want to have the short end up against the wall. And so what that allows you to do is going to look like this. This is how it's going to lay on the floor. You're going to have this side facing out. So you're going to put this out. When you start, you have this facing at the top out, and this side out facing you. And so that what happens is, when you go to connect your boards, all you do is push it down in there and lay flat, and that'll lock it in place. And then when you come for the next one, you'll drop it in. When you come with the next board, you'll drop it into place. Let's see if I can do it. I'm holding these in the air. So you'll come, you'll push it in, you'll lock it in, and boom, like so. See that? You come, push up. That way you ain't got to do so much pushing. You ain't got to do so much tapping with that block. Push that in, bam, and you lock it in like that. So you're gonna watch me lay the floor. I'm gonna lay the whole room, and I'm gonna show you exactly what I mean. So guys, as you see, as I lay my first board, I got that groove out, facing outwards. The groove at the top. I also got my spaces. See, I got my space back here, and I got the space up against the wall. I got that little gap here. I didn't buy. I gotta scoot that over. See that? I didn't buy any spacers because I know how to do it. But I'd recommend spacers if you just want to make sure you keep it, or you make a chalk line across the room. That way you can make sure you stay straight. And also, something I failed to mention is make sure you have some gloves. You're definitely gonna want some good working gloves, because this could take a toll on your hands. So we're gonna start clicking it together, and you're gonna watch me while I do it. Also guys, another thing that you want to remember, you want to cut the planks when you do the rows. You don't want to, you want to cut the planks in halves and quarters or fourths or whatever. You want to make them random. You want a random pattern. You don't want, when you want to stagger each row differently. So you just kind of want to do whatever, just random cuts. So the floor, none of the floor looks the same. Because if you cut it in half and then come back the next row, eventually it's gonna look the same. So you want it to be kind of like you just want random patterns. That'll give it the best look, and it'll look more like a more natural wood floor. So make sure you make those cuts and stagger that floor. That way to give it that random look. You don't really have to be specific on how you do it. Like with other floors, you might want to cut it, in half, then maybe cut you and then keep with that pattern, every other row or something like that. But when you're doing this kind of flooring, you want to just constantly stagger and make different kind of cuts, throughout the each row. That way, none of the rows are the same. So as I work on this floor, I realized, and I didn't mention also, is that the first couple rows are very critical. And it's kind of tricky. The floor is gonna try to move and shift on you. So what you do, I say by the time you get to like the third row, what I would do if I was you, I would start sitting my wood flooring, my boxes, I would sit on top of the floor to hold it down. Once you get like 2-3 rows, just to hold it down so that it won't move on you. You know what I'm saying? Because it's basically it's a floating floor. So and that's exactly what it's gonna do. You lay them in first couple rows, it's gonna float. So you wanna sit something on it, hold it down, and lock away. Alright guys, so here's the finished product of the room. It's a 27 by 15. It's all done. Say it took me about 5 hours to do everything, to do the whole floor. So the only thing now I gotta do the baseboard. The baseboard trim around there. I gotta reface that fireplace, and it'll be all done. So just want to show you guys and give you some tips on doing laminate plank flooring, and that's pretty much it. It's pretty simple, and hey, if I can do it, you can do it. So I'm gonna try to continue to bring these how to do videos. So you know, continue to watch my channel, like, subscribe, leave a comment, let me know what you think. All right.